ladies, welcome. How many boot camps has everybody been to?
This is my second.
This is my first one.
This is your first, and so what brought you out?
My friends, they were telling me about it, and I got the opportunity. I was asked if I want to come, and I was like, yeah, of course.
So what do you think is going to happen to you here?
I think I'm gonna get spiritually changed, better than what I am now, but also a lot of running, a lot of getting dirty.
For the past month or so, it's felt like I've been in neutral. So I really just wanna get moving.
Tuesday is the most crappiest day of all days. And it's the breakdown. It makes you feel like crap and everything. They come to you with a lot of pressure and everything, and they make you feel like you don't deserve anything. But then as they build up in you and they talk to you and tell you about God, you really get the understanding of, this ain't bad.
Each boot camp we come changed if we open ourselves to God, and to me that's super important, especially because it's a refreshment, just like conference is a refreshment. To me boot camp is a refreshment to see obviously friends and all that, but also just to hear the word of God.
Yeah.
You think this camp will help you find humility?
Yes, because I see boot camp as something, everybody's equal. You're not just, they take away electronics. Yes, they have to take that away. They take away your style. I mean, you can't bring gel. You can't bring, good shoes. You can't really pop out.
The last 3 years of boot camp have been a growing up kind of thing. It's my worst gets worse and worse and worse, and then this year's I'm saved, I'm ready. I don't know. I'm just hoping that God speaks to me this year. I want to get something out of this year, and I don't want to cry as much this year. That's a goal.
Yeah, my uncle pulled me aside before, and he started talking to me about my past, my mom and stuff, and I cried like a little baby. I cried too.
So why do you need it really bad this year?
Because I am not I'm obedient, but I need something to kick back in.
We actually did a lot of praying and fasting for this camp just because we're really expecting God to move, both on our part and for the other boots, and just ready for God to move. Really, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this week.
Every year when you come out of boot camp, you should be different, and so I come to boot camp to change.
I come to boot camp to work out issues that I have, because I feel the DIs really helped me with that. And Pastor Katala, he preached on a sermon about trust issues, having trust issues with God, and that's something that I want to work on this year in boot camp.
Well, I come to boot camp because it's more like my own closed-in environment where I can just work on me and stuff, and I don't have to worry about home, siblings, and all that. So it just really gives me time to wind down and figure out, hey, these are the problems you're having, this is what you need to change, and this is what you need to keep up. So every year it can be different.
I have a bunch of ideas about what my calling is and what I want to do with my life, but I want God to solidify what He wants me to do in life.
What kind of things jump out at you as being Christian duties?
Probably witnessing, for sure, number one.
Our main goal is to reach lives and to save souls for Christ. So God gave us this huge ocean of people that we have to save, and every day we have to try and reach as many people as we can.
People at my school are very aggravating. I'm not gonna lie, they are very aggravating. But God's given me the gift to actually become friends with anybody and everybody. So I guess for me it's just I have to open my mouth and actually say start telling them what I believe and stuff.
As a Christian, you set yourself apart. So when you set yourself apart, you go to the people in the dark and you're like, hey, listen, you don't have to live like this. Our job as Christians is to win the world for Jesus.
College dating is when you do it even though sometimes you don't want to. I'm scared sometimes. I'm what if they don't listen, or what if, I don't know.
Yeah. Prayer for healing too, whenever because our pastor's been pushing, praying to see people healed. There's always that doubt and that hesitance in your mind, but you have to do it, and you have to step out.
As young kids, we don't think that we have a role, but we really do. It's being a leader. So I would say being a leader is really living our life the way we need to for other people to see we're Christians.
Be an example.
Yeah.
It's gonna make our muscles get on fire, which is then gonna break us down, and then we're gonna cry like little babies inside.
Being fire for God means you're in it. You're in church. You give your all.
You don't back down.
Yeah.
You don't look back.
I think it means like you're unashamed, like you don't care either way. You're just like, oh, he's Jesus, he's my God, you know, like that.
Like you have a drive, like you have like this special drive that makes you like keep going.
Converting souls.
Yeah, basically.
Whenever I first got saved, like I had a fire in my heart, but I didn't contend, witness, and tell other people about Jesus. So that fire died out until I got last year at boot camp. Actually, I was talking with the DI, and she just like ended up that fire just restarting in my heart. So
I think it's also being excited about the things of God, because like once you've been saved for a while, it kind of gets just the same routine. But just being on fire is being excited and wanting to do something all the time for God.
How do you think this camp will help you develop spiritual gifts?
Teach you to look at God and trust God with your problems. Not worry for what's to come, and just lay it in the hands of God and say, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but here's my life and here I am.
I think one of them could be winning souls to Christ. Like you might just have that, like, you might have the personality to be able, you know, be able to talk to people who aren't saved and be able to win them over to Christ.
Like certain people have like good people skills where they can just like stand up at a podium and preach.
We just want to see God like move in a new way. A lot of the youth have been rising up in like gifts of tongues and prophesying and interpretation.
Yeah, so it's not just us, but like multiple other
tons of kids,
people in our church, like young kids, and then like other people in like their early 20s and stuff.
Because like 2 years ago, that was not the case.
It just seems like God's really trying to do something like in terms of like gifts specifically with younger people. Like he's kind of like breaking into the younger generation in terms of like giving us these gifts. So for me, it was like two or three conferences ago, I felt for the first time like God moving on me to step out in interpretation of a prophecy. And at the time I was like, oh no, it's not me. Like, it's not me, it's gotta be like some man, like some pastor who's supposed to do this, like it's not me. And then the service ended and no one interpreted it, so it just like went uninterpreted. And after that I just really felt like, okay, like it must have been me. And what God finally broke in me was that like you're not doing this for your own betterment or for your own reputation, you're doing this for your church. So when you do step out and you do this, it doesn't matter how you look doing it or how you sound doing it or any of that, because you're obeying God and you're giving your church this word that they need to hear.
And then I felt it like every single service for like a few weeks, and then at one point I was like, he was just like, I was like, God, is this you? And he's like, yeah, don't be scared. Like, just step out in faith and I'll take over.
First time that it was like a service, and during the whole service, I just felt like I wasn't like gaining anything. And when I was praying, it was just like dry, and like I just felt like I couldn't get through in a way. And then we just like started praising God, and it just like kind of came out. So I wasn't really feeling anything beforehand. I mean, I was, but I didn't recognize it because it had never happened before.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just like continued to contend like every day for it.
So it's not like we're special people or we're like anyone, if they seek God for this gift, I believe that God gives gifts to people who desire them.
Tongues really does like help me, and I know, and like my pastor tells us all the time, he's like, just pray, just talk to God and stuff, because he says a lot of it's just dealing with the heart, and if you just talk to God and stuff, it can really just help you. And I know with me personally, sometimes I don't know what to say, and I just don't have the words to say anything, so I just speak in tongues, and it's just kind of like God knows what I'm trying to say, even though I can't say it. Speaking in tongues really helps me.
Sometimes like I feel like everything like is just weighing on my shoulders, and it's like, you know, I have to find somewhere to put it. So it's like, you know, I just cry out to God, and you just speak in tongues, and it just comes out, you know. You're just talking to him, telling him your problems and stuff like that.
Have you ever lied to a drill instructor?
No. You can't. I don't hear that. It's so silent.
What do you think about people who can lie to a drill instructor?
I think they have no heart for God, and they really need to listen. Like there's something wrong, and they need to open up their heart and just give their life to Christ. Because if you can lie to a drill instructor,
you will face you.
Like,
You can lie to your parents. You can lie to anybody. Your
And
pastor.
you could, right.
I need more Jesus.
How could you like the spirit? Like I can't. Like even
It's
if I
like
wanted to, it just comes out.
Jesus
Like,
is speaking to me right there.
yeah, it's just.
That's very. I find that that's a rebellious spirit that would need to be dealt with because if you don't understand that DIs are there to, like when they're breaking you down, it's not for you to fight back, it's for you to release, and they're not going to judge you for like whatever you're going through. They're going to try to help you, and it's not something that you should fight. It's not something you should say like, no, I'm this perfect person.
No.
Like,
Even if you do lie, they're going to find out because God has like given them like spiritual gifting to know what's going on in our lives, I guess.
Like,
I'm gonna dive in the mud pit. That's how much I'm looking forward to.
Bring it on, mud pit.